Hey everybody, this is Pete Cossaboon here with the Positive Vibe Show from Project Positive Change. The Positive Vibe Show is all about showing the amazing talent that is here with Project Positive Change and of course bringing positive transformation out to the world. We're going to start a series. We're going to talk about really success. And I think really for me, the very first part of success is really about the focus and how we really define success. So here with me today is Allison Sara Reiner. She's with Project Positive Change. I think she's from the UK, right, Allison?
I am from Scotland originally, but I live in Italy. So yeah, I am. Oh. I'm British. I'm very British.
I'm from Alabama, so that whole Europe thing.
Yeah, that side of the pond.
So Allison, tell everybody what you do and really let's get into this whole topic of success and focus, okay?
Okay, so I am, I call myself a love to gain coach. I work a relationship coach in theory. I work with individuals within relationships who are unhappy in the relationship but aren't ready to give up on it. So we work together to create that, because happiness comes from within. Is what I discovered in my journey. So I teach you to become happy within, and from that place you then begin to create options. You then begin to understand whether you do want to make the transformation in your marriage, whether you want to leave the marriage. You suddenly find yourself in a place where you can make decisions. You're no longer reacting to situations, but you're actually the actionary, if you like, of your own life. You're the creator of your own life. So yeah, that's kind of what I do in essence.
Cool, and I think that's really interesting that we started off this way, because I think people's definition of success is like one static thing. But really, as you were talking, I was really thinking about how we can really define what success is for us, and it can really just truly be happiness or a great relationship, or even just finding the energy or the strength to stand up for yourself in a relationship. Is that true?
Completely. One of the things that funnily enough, about 18 months ago, I suddenly found myself plateauing. I couldn't seem to move in any direction, and there was no reason for it. I hadn't changed anything. I hadn't, everything was exactly the same. And it took me a while to realize that actually what I'd done was I'd hit my own level of success. I'd built myself my own glass ceiling, because one of the things that I did in my own journey was rewrite what success meant for me. When I started 6 or 7 years ago to look at my own self and my own unhappiness and where it came from, I realized that a lot of how I defined success was based on what I did, i.e. my career, my being a wife, being a mother, even money in the bank, how I spent my spare time. That was kind of how I defined success. And I had to work really hard to break all that down, to find a success that fitted with how I wanted to feel, and something that I could work towards. And I realized that I created that, I built that, and I had sort of hit up against it again. So I had to go back in and all over again, relook at what success would mean for me, and push the ceiling back up a little bit. And so I think you're absolutely right when you were saying it's flowing, it's always on the move, it's always changing. And some days success really is making it through the day, getting to bed at night and sighing and saying, yeah, it's done. And that's not a bad day. Other days, it's so much more.
And I was just thinking about, as you were talking about that, how, we really hit ourselves over the head so much by either we will meet that level of success, which usually is something that somebody else has defined for us, and then we don't know what to do, or we feel like we haven't met that level of success we hit. So either way, we're hitting ourselves over the head. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're so mean to ourselves. We're like, I've reached this level and that's all there is, or I can't reach this level and I'm just not good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is why it's so important to actually, go in and define your own version of success. Or, funnily enough, we were talking earlier on this is not legal advice, about exactly this. We have all these generic words: success, love, respect, all of these things. And if I say success, you get a picture of what that means in your mind, but it's not the same as me. You know, it's not the same as mine. If I say love, your idea of love, yeah, probably we cross over somewhere, but you'll have slightly different ideas. So it's so important that when we're thinking about it from our own perspective, we actually define it for ourselves. And that's the great thing. We do get to define it. We get to sit down with a big piece of paper and say, okay, what would that look like? And not just in terms of money or career or where, you know, where I'm going in life, but how I feel, how I look after myself, how I show up for me and for other people, whatever tends to, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you feel good about yourself.
And I think that the people are listening to this and they're probably like, yeah, I've heard this before. But I think what it is that we are so action oriented, you know what I mean, that we don't understand that. I have a spiritual teacher that says that, you know, 1 hour when you're in the flow is worth 10,000 hours when you're not in the flow. And I think what we're really getting at the core of is if you really create that focus, if you create that clarity of what's important to you and what it is that you're really trying to achieve, you know, then you can get that energy that just moves you through. You know, even if you are physically tired, you're still wanting to be in that game. You're still wanting to go, rather than like having to constantly motivate and push yourself. And, you know, it even kind of happened to me this morning. I was talking to somebody that couldn't be on our show today. And she was saying she had to go out and do some things. And I thought the very first thought that came to my mind was, but how do you know what those things are? And I thought, ooh, sometimes settle back down and just realize that you need to tune back in, and then it just kind of comes to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. It's so difficult. When you were saying, you know, we're so actionary, and I think actually we're more reactionary. That's, you know, it's rather than acting, what we tend to do is, you know, we have all these opinions based on what other people have told us or other people have mirrored to us, and we react against them, and we set ourselves up based on that almost. So yeah, everything we're doing is in reaction to something else or another thought or another idea. And it's, you know, to be able to go back to that place of just being and just, you know, it's good to breathe, to sit, to be.
Right. And I think also to realize that, you know, we are built to both crave safety and excitement. I think it's what
Yeah.
you're talking about, where you'd reached your ceiling, you had reached that level of safety for yourself.
Yeah.
Now you're having to push out into that unknown. And as human creatures, we are built to crave both of it. And you know, I think each one of us has our own special mix. I'm probably more on the safety side, although I tend to be a leaper and jump into, I don't know why. But I have no need to jump out of an airplane, for one thing.
Yeah. I think that sometimes that's the only way to do it, though. You know, they talk about the comfort zone, don't they? And the comfort zone is so named because even if you're unhappy, even if you're miserable, even if you wake up every morning dreading the next 24 hours or the next 18 hours before you can get back into bed, you stay there because you know it's safe, you know how to navigate it, you know exactly what will happen, you know exactly how you'll feel. And sometimes the only way to get out of it is to do that big leap, you know, just throw yourself, or else, you know, you open the door and you look out and you say, nah, not today. Or you work yourself up and you do the same thing, you say, no, I'll wait till this happens or that happens. So I think, you know, you've probably got the best idea.
Just to kind of go ahead and jump.
Yeah, just.
So you're kind of saying before, you think the best thing to do is to just kind of like sit with yourself and get a big piece of paper and really kind of define what success and focus is for you?
I think, you know, because it's such a personal thing. You know, when I started my spiritual path, if you like, I came from a very organized religion, and it sounds like I'm going off track, but I'm not, don't worry. And that religion really left me feeling cold because it was very oppressive. So when I started my spiritual path, I had to do a lot of work to get, you know, to create some sort of alignment between religion and spirituality. And what I understood there was I could create my own version of something higher than me. I could call it whatever I wanted. I could make it however I wanted. I could make it kind and loving and, you know, and all embracing. Or I could continue with the idea that I'd been brought up with, which was very harsh and very, you know, very angry and very, you know, very pointy fingered. And I didn't want that. And it's exactly the same thing, I think, with success. You can create it exactly as you want, as long as you're not, as long as you keep your mind open, so that you can always build on it, you can always expand on it, you can always make it something better, different, bigger, as you start to reach your own ceiling.
And I so agree. I mean, and I think that it was certainly part of the conversation because, I mean, for so many people out there, spirituality, religion, what you think of that is really almost kind of the core, or what you use is sort of like what's the word, like a beacon, to kind of sort of like, a GPS tracker
Yeah.
where you are, I guess I'd say.
Yeah. Because, the other thing about being successful, one of the things for me, it sounds like a really small thing, but, I couldn't take a compliment. If someone said you look nice, I would make such a fuss that it was embarrassing for all concerned. I'm sure you've been around those people. Oh no, I don't know. I learned how to do that. I learned how to do it gracefully and graciously. And for me, that is part of what success is to be able to, to be able to allow people to give not just compliments, but to give me time, attention, love, whatever it is that I need in that particular time. Something I couldn't do before. But for me, when I look at my own version of success, that's a really big part of it for me, because that allows me to be absolutely in connection with other people. Because it means that when I'm giving, I'm also open to receiving, and that's that's a relatively new concept for me, because I could give and give and give, but then I'm out of balance, and I'm depleted, and I'm empty, and I'm not really connecting with the world in the right way, because you can only give so much, and you either attract the people that only want to take, or you frustrate the hell out of the people that actually would desperately want to give back and keep a balanced relationship.
It's almost like you're stealing that gift from them, aren't you?
Yeah, it really is. It's exactly like that, and I think when you can reframe it like that, it's really powerful.
I love that. And I love how you were saying that we can really define success in so many different ways, because we tend to try to put it into how many cars we have and how big our house is, and a lot of it's in such these physical terms, or how good does my partner look, or whatever, whatever it is you do. How many points do I have on my abs, which is
I've never put that down on my list. I don't think I ever will. And the other thing, we're in a sort of world where there's an awful lot of spirituality, and there's an awful lot of spiritual arrogance as well, and there's a lot of that. My success depends on how spiritually I'm perceived to be. So there's an awful lot of rubbish that we don't have to buy into. We're so free to create whatever we want. Sorry, we've got
cool.
family out there.
No, you're cool. I didn't hear a thing. So let's give people some basic steps then. You say you just get a piece of paper, start. Do you think it's kind of like a free flow thing at first? Just kind of like free flow?
I would think, for me, that always works best. If you tell me to sit down and write a list of what success would mean, or write a list of anything, I suddenly go blank. So I always like to just start writing and see what comes up. And then from there, you kind of get, you've got the broad headlines, because, let's be honest, we're seeing, the number of cars you have in the garage, but to be honest, that's part of it. The more, the physical wealth allows us to do for other people what we can't when we're struggling to pay our own bills. So, that certainly has to be part of it too. So, define the in broad strokes, the areas of your life that are important to you. So, your career, your financial stability, your relationships, your sense of self, your self-love, your spirituality, your health, your wellness. Everyone's going to be slightly different, but maybe 10 or 12 categories that resonate with you. Could be as few as 6. For me, for instance, when I think about family, I've got to split it down into the relationship with my husband, into the relationship with my kids, and then the bigger family. So already I've got 3 separate issues, 3 separate sections just there. And then sort of define what would be success in terms of each of those, how you would feel, what would be happening when or what is happening. Because if we put it into the sort of present tense, when I am successful and this is happening, so that you get a sense of it, and then you've got something to judge, something to compare to. You know, I'm not big into comparison, but at least you know where you're heading, and you've got something to, you know, sort of notches on your bed, maybe not your bedpost. Your bedpost isn't a good place to, maybe not, but you've got the notches that you can sort of check out where you are on it, what you need to tweak, where you have to go.
Because I definitely think part of success, and this is part of the series I think we'll talk about later, is really about having those milestones so that you can celebrate yourself along the way. So I think that is very important. You also brought up something else about how it's important to have how you feel in the moment, because how you feel, or how you feel about yourself, or how you feel about life, that can be a level of success right there.
And I think for me personally, that is the biggest measurement. You know, but that's my own personal thing. How my relationship with myself, it really dictates how successful I am in every other area of my life. If I'm not good with me, I'm not going to be particularly good with my clients. I'm not going to be particularly good at home. I'm going to be pushing things. I won't be in the flow. So for me, that's the first place that I always have to start when I'm thinking about success. Not necessarily the case for everybody, but I think it's an important, that sense of self, that relationship with self, that, you know, I call it self-love, has to be on there somewhere.
Cool. And do you think that you should have like maybe different, you were talking about your family relationships and your kids and things like that. Do you think you could have like maybe success targets for you personally, and then maybe for your family, and then for your kids and that kind of thing?
I think that, you know, it depends what age your kids are, I suppose, and it depends what, you know, again, it's a very personal thing. It depends what you define success in your relationship with your kids to be. You know, if it's being able to spend, you know, 3 hours a week, you know, just one-on-one with each of them, then yeah, by all means, put that down. So it really, it depends on your own definition.
Cool. And I think that we are about to be joined by Megan. So let's see here if Megan is about to come on board.
Oh, she is.
Megan, you with us today? Hey, Megan.
I am. Hi.
We got Megan Shuford with us, who is another Project Positive Change visionary. And we are talking about success, and really talking about the focus of success. You want to kind of just jump in there, Megan, and tell us who you are and what you think about success, and maybe focusing on how you create it?
Yeah, so I'm a transformational coach. I'm based in North Carolina in the States, and I'm also the founder of Dreams Followed program, which is a community accelerator for change makers. And we have launched our inaugural program, and applications like open right now, but we'll be awarding 8 change makers a 6-month coaching experience to do the inner transformational work and have the external strategy and support to bring their vision into being that has powerful, positive community impact. And they'll get $1,000 each in seed funding towards their dream or vision. So that's just a little bit of background on me. And the success piece, it's interesting because I started to think about doing an interview series and starting with local entrepreneurs, nonprofit leaders, just people, you know, doing their work in the world, and to explore this concept of success, because it is so multi-layered, or has the potential to be. And I think, and I just sort of came in on a little bit of what you and Allison were talking about, but some of what I gleaned from what Allison was sharing is that very personal, like what does success mean to me? And am I right with myself? And so success for me has been, because I've not gone the traditional path. I have a master's degree in social work, but this whole conscious entrepreneur path has felt very different from what I was raised to do. And traditionally in my home, it was, you know, do good work, get a good secure job that someone else figures out how you get paid for that. And you just continue to do your good work in the world. And so this exploration in what is success for me, and charting my own path and learning to be an entrepreneur. And I really think that it boils down to, am I listening to that deep, wise inner voice, that intuitive calling, whatever it is that I know that I need to do? and taking the action in alignment with that. So success is really, I mean, as Allison pointed out, and I may just be extracting one piece and, creating my own meaning because I came in towards the end there. But for me in the work that I do, are you being authentic? Are you really showing up and doing, for me, the good work that I need to do in the world? And sometimes that means being uncomfortable and taking risks in a way that really stretch you, and that leave you feeling perhaps less than secure in moments, which ultimately, that's an illusion as well. I think we're all truly deeply taken care of in each given moment. But so I don't have a clear definition of success. I don't have a clear system for success in this sort of larger context. But when it comes down to, for me, getting clear on your vision, like what is it that you're speaking to create, then getting really clear on a system that will get you to that specific vision, and then also taking the bold action and the bold steps to get there as well, I think is really some of the keys to success, and being firmly committed to aligning your thoughts, your energy, your intention with that purpose and that plan to get there. So that's what comes up for me right now in this moment. It could be different tomorrow, but that's what's coming through right now.
That's a lot of great impactful things you're really talking about there, Megan. I love that. I mean, it's what are your thoughts, Allison?
I'm processing, because it was, you came in just at the point that we were talking about, writing your own success. But for me, that is it. It comes down to that. My success is never, unless I'm not being authentic, unless I'm not being true to myself, my success is never going to be the same as yours, as anyone else's, as my mother's, as my father's, as my husband's, as as the guy next door. It's always going to be mine. But I need to keep remembering to keep checking in with myself, and also checking in that I'm pushing myself up and out, so that I'm not getting comfortable. Before you arrived, Megan, I was sharing that I'd sort of reached my pinnacle of success about 18 months ago, and I couldn't understand what had happened. And I realized that I'd created my own glass ceiling in terms of, all sorts of success. And I had to go back in and relook at it again. But it's something that we should be doing much more frequently.
I love that. So, Megan, do you like make lists, or do you keep milestones of your success, or what do you do? What's your method?
So I actually, and I do this with my clients too, I have a written vision. So I articulate that vision in a narrative form. And I'm actually, this concept of conscious co-creation, a process of really first exploring and seeing what is it that I truly actually desire, not what I think I should want, but what do I really, really, truly want to experience in this life and the world around me. And sometimes those things are clear and concrete, and I could see a path and have a map to get there. And other times it's things that may be seemingly impossible or highly improbable in the world that we live in currently. So I start with that process of opening myself up to what do I want. Then I write a clear narrative, and then I have break that down into action steps. Or I look at, if this is the ultimate vision, where am I right now, and what are the first steps and processes I'm going to take to get there. So there's that approach, and definitely making lists. I also just recently had this really great opportunity. I have a background in development and consulting as well. In my nonprofit days, I've been coaching for about 5 years, but I've also done a variety of nonprofit work. And so have just started helping a local company in crowdfunding campaign success coach and creating a system for them. So using Excel spreadsheets to track things, and being able to track the the processes and the systems and having things organized is a success tool is really creating those tools that whatever the specific project or the specific system needs is, and getting creative with that, and then using those tools to track and to be organized and to move forward with the project at hand.
I love how you're saying that
So,
you start out with this narrative, and I adore that, because it's almost like creating your own story, right? Because everything we live is about a story that we really created. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so you're saying you like start this story, what I'm thinking is you're saying, and I'm kind of putting it into there, is that you're like putting a lot of probably feeling into it, like how do I feel along this journey? What does this do for me, more in terms of, does it just expand my checking account, or does it make me feel more powerful and help me to help more people? And what specifically am I able to do, like in this space? I just love that. And then you're able to take that very sort of creative thing and then make it much more defined by taking out action steps in that. I think that's amazing. What do you think, Allison? I'm just really thrilled about this.
Yeah, it's one of the processes that I take clients through. It's something that well, I take myself through it too, and it's often when we're stuck, it's really difficult to it's really difficult to get out of it, because we don't have that plan, we don't have that vision of what we want, and that's often why we settle for. I'm not sure if it's my earphones that are making a funny noise. Am I giving you feedback?
No.
You can hear me perfectly.
Mhm.
No, I'm sorry, I would have taken them out if it had been. Often we don't actually make a move out of that comfort zone we were talking about, because we don't know what we want. We don't have that big vision for the future. So it's so important to get that. And the reason that we get it is not so that we aim 100% without variation to get there. It's so that we've got something to start working towards. And then we keep our minds open the whole time. We start putting the action steps that Megan was talking about into place, but always being aware that there may be something better, bigger, and more for us out there. But once you've got that goal, it's so much easier to take a step outside your comfort zone and start working towards it. So I love what she said.
I know, I was totally getting into it.
Yeah, I love the synchronicities here too. And I think that holding it, so I would describe that as holding it lightly, like not being attached, everything that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Takes the vision and allowing for even more to come in. And I just wanted to share an interesting example. So a year ago, I had kept seeing myself in California starting to write this first book on conscious co-creation. And I saw horses around. And I shared with a friend that I was interested in going and doing this, and if any of her people in California needed a house sitter to let me know. And so she didn't know of anybody, and then a few weeks later she tagged me in a post on Facebook, and these friends of hers needed someone to house sit in their tiny home, which I'd been wanting to live in a tiny home. So basically we created this relationship where they gave me their car, their state park pass, and I'm hearing some typing in the background, I'm not sure. Their car, their state park pass to go to the national or to the local state parks, food, and I was in this place. In the vision, I'd seen horses around, and there were horses outside of the window at this place. And so I kept wanting to go back to California and envision myself having a bi-coastal life between the Southeast US and California. And a few weeks ago, they texted me and invited me to come back and asked if I would be willing to live out there for 7.5 weeks and do the same thing. And of course, that was in alignment with my vision, so I said yes. And as I was doing it, there was a little bit of seed of a doubt in my mind that something might, not work out with this specific plan or process. And sure enough, a couple days ago, they texted me to let me know that the car that I was slated to use had actually broken down. And I had this brief moment of disappointment. And then I had this like opening of delight and wonder to think, if this situation is dissolving, this opportunity is shifting, what's the greater thing that's going to come to fill in its place? And a genuine sense of delight and curiosity and like relief of like something even what's better than 2 months in California, you know? So that example of holding the vision, you know, it coming in and then it shifting, really living into a place in life where I genuinely get excited about kind of and sweetly open and, you know, looking to think about what are all the different opportunities and possibilities that are now going to flow in, that are going to be even more in alignment.
I'm glad you told that, because I think that's so important to know, because so many people do that. You know, they'll see something like that seems to match, like the perfect person, the perfect situation or whatever. And I think what those are really kind of just glimpses from the universe saying, hey, you're on the right track. And then you have to like almost like cross this bridge of faith, you know, and faith is knowing without seeing. Faith is, you know, having an understanding with absolutely not a shred of evidence to back it up. And I think that's what you've done, is you've crossed it over and you took that first indication as simply the universe saying, we agree with you. We think this would be wonderful. And here's something that kind of looks like it. You know what I mean? And you're like, what can be even better? And I think that's amazing, because I think so many people get stopped right there. They get stopped on that other side of the bridge where, you know, what they had, because they put so much, like you said, they held it too tightly. They didn't hold it loose enough. And so when it went away, they all of a sudden went into this judgment of, I'm not good enough, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know how to do this, and I might as well just stay here and, you know, do nothing under my glass ceiling, right? So yeah. I love that you told that story.
And the thing, you know, because not everybody can get to that step, you know, in one go. There's always the disappointment, that I'm not good enough, or, you know, it was never meant to be, nothing ever works out for me, whatever those thoughts are. And the one thing that I do often when I go into that place before I can move to where Megan is talking about is just keep going into that curiosity. Okay, I don't feel good about this, but what am I going to learn? What is going to happen? What can it be? And it's, you know, it kind of lightens it. It doesn't take away the disappointment completely, but it does lighten it up a bit until you can take that step across the bridge that Megan was talking about. And it, you know, a lot, I must admit, I fall into disappointment much quite easily. So I have to push myself out of it. And it's a really good way. Eventually your brain does kind of say, yeah, I wonder what this is all about. I wonder what I am going to learn. Well, this is going to be fun. So it's a nice kind of light way to get yourself out of that disappointment.
I love that. Well, we've been going on for probably
I was just about to say, just check the time. I am going
half
to
an hour now. We probably should wrap up, because people are gonna be like, oh, I can't watch too much more. So anyway, are there any final thoughts before we go today?
I have one final thought, and I think we were talking about personal success, which is so vital to start there. And then I keep thinking about kind of concepts of true liberation, and that reality that no one's free until everyone is free. And so thinking about, we do our work and then that expands out to others. So Allison does her work and then that expands out to the people in her community and her clients, and, you know, beyond I'm sure there are numerous people that aren't just in her professional setting that she has a positive impact on in showing up in the way that she shows up. And so thinking about, for me, community being really important, and doing, like, defining that personal level of success, supporting other people, empowering and uplifting them to their own, you know, version of success, and really thinking about us being truly successful when we are having this positive social impact, from my experience and my desire and my sort of, you know, makeup of how I perceive true ultimate success. And so I just wanted to share that piece in closing. I'm sure that'd be like a whole nother, you know, segment that we could explore. But I'm just so grateful. I had a meeting this morning that got canceled, and flipped a coin and confirmed that I should be here now instead of I'll go out to vote after this. But thank you, Pete, for creating this space, and thank you, Allison, for also being here. And I'm just grateful to have had this opportunity this morning. So thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks, Megan.
How about you? Final thoughts, Allison?
I am kind of out of thoughts, but yeah, For me, success is such an individual thing, and it's just keeping close to yourself. It's all, my thing is self-love, and it's going back to that self, when you're good with yourself, when you're true to yourself, then you're well on the way to creating the success that you want in whatever guise that's going to look for you.
And I would just say that, you are the one that needs to really define your own success, because if you let somebody else define it, you're never going to be happy in that. So this has been the Positive Vibe Show from Project Positive Change. I've had Allison Reiner and Megan Shuford here with me today. I appreciate you guys so much. And the Positive Vibe Show is here to showcase the amazing talent and skills and everything that we have in the Positive Vibe Show. Contact each of these lovely ladies or myself if you want to work with any of us, or Project Positive Change if you're interested in getting on board. And we will talk to you all soon.